So this episode shows Bishop dressed as a Marine, driving an extravagant car, listening to rap music, and making out with McGee. And that's just in the first scene. Incognito, people. Incognito, just like a lot of the other Undercover NCIS episodes, just really throws you right into the thick of it. And I think part of that is to like throw the viewer off their game, to be like, is that really happening? But if McGee and Bishop like got married and bought a house together without me knowing, then I've been even more distracted by Gibbs's hair than I originally thought. McGee says that he wishes Bishop would have called so he could have dinner ready for them. I appreciate domestic McGee so much more than I anticipated already. But McGee and Bishop are undercover watching this couple across the street that are cleaning their car together like they're in a Carly Rae Jepsen music video, so we'll see if they're murderers. Something that I finally noticed about the theme song is that in the opening title card, they have a handful of little rectangles, and I thought they were just clips of the show, but each episode, those rectangles show clips specifically from that episode. Jake and Bishop are planning a nice trip together, and then she super casually drops the bomb that Tony and Zoe are probably breaking up sometime soon. What? Why does no one tell me these things before I make theories? I don't know how to feel about this. So Tony's probably going to be single soon. I wonder if any of his old flames are coming back. Damn it, John. Everything that I've been thinking about Zoe has been altered in the blink of an eye. Season 13. Speaking of the terribly romantically challenged man himself, Tony walks in. Tony's rocking some shades and he's calling everyone beautiful and he just seems really happy, so I am concerned. Tony made a submission to DNA.com, so someone should be getting back to him about his ethnic history and whatnot. Tony's always heard some family rumors that he has royalty in his blood, so if that's true, he can make a really good reality show out of this. Tony says he's been thinking about family and wants to find out more about who he is by looking deep into his genes. Tony, you don't gotta look into your genes to find out who you are. You gotta look into your heart. Gibbs gets a call from someone that works at NCIS named Newton, and him and Tony go to meet with the man in his hotel, but then the woman at the front desk says they found his body. He's dead. I feel like it's not really necessary to clarify that he's dead after they say they found his body, because when someone finds someone alive, do they just say like, we found their body, and their soul, and their beating heart, we found all of them, they're alive. That would be a positive twist though. Ducky says he's always believed that jogging does more harm than good, and I've never agreed with him more. Bishop and DiNozzo go and investigate Newton's house, and he has some framed pictures of his dog, and Tony makes fun of him, but this dog is incredibly handsome. I most likely would have had a full-fledged portrait of him in my living room. But then DiNozzo finds a plastic knife wrapped in plastic wrap, wrapped in an envelope. Newton liked to keep his dining ware exquisite. And yeah, it's plastic, but like, class has no boundaries. DiNozzo and Gibbs are talking to this colonel woman in MTAC, and she says that Newton has been working on this unsolved armory theft case for a couple years, but before she goes, she makes sure to flirt it up with Gibbs. Gibbs is such a ladies' man already. He probably gets compliments like this all the time on the street. Such a silver fox. Tony gets some of his results back and finds out that he could be related to a historical British figure. What could possibly go wrong? Meanwhile, back up in the orange room, McGee picks up Bishop's phone because he sees that it's Jake calling, and he has like a nice conversation with him and casually mentions that Bishop and him are going to these islands, which McGee's been to, and they're very nice. And then Gibbs gets mad because even though it's early, Tony and Bishop still aren't here. Gibbs wants them to live their lives, but he'll also low-key buy them a dog bed so they can sleep under their desks every night. Abby scans the knife and finds out that there are fingerprints on it that belong to the wife of a captain that just got stationed at Quantico. And then they're all like, wow, something's definitely up with this wife. Meanwhile, Tony meets up with an old friend. And that friend is named Regret. Because Tony's like, God, like I always made fun of this guy, but it turns out he was onto something this whole time. So he kind of has a moment with that in Autopsy. Tony and Gibbs go to question the couple. Tony spots their beautiful car and is just really like laying on the compliments, like he's calling it a sexy machine and stuff like that. No wonder things aren't working out with Zoe. It's because Tony's dream woman is a car. Turns out McGee made a classic mistake because the trip that Bishop told him about and that he told Jake about was actually a secret anniversary present from Bishop, and now McGee's really in the McDoghouse this time. Bishop really lays it on him. She's like, thanks for ruining my anniversary. I think it's more of a brother-sister level argument than like a coworker argument, which again I think helps with their family dynamic even with some negative stuff like this. And then Gibbs drops the marriage bomb upon McGee and Bishop. And then McGee's like, why us? And then Tony is like, well, they know Gibbs and I. Was there an option where Gibbs and Denoso would have went undercover as the married couple? We are living in a very progressive era. But, oh my god. McGee calls Bishop Ellie, which I think I've heard maybe once on the show. Bishop pulls out a framed picture of her and McGee lying in the grass taking selfies. And I wish we would have seen this photo shoot taking place. I also wish we would have seen Denoso's face watching it happen. Like, God, is this what McGee went through all these years? And then I wish Denoso would have been involved in it. I wish we would have seen these selfies. For like 3 minutes, the show is really happy, and I know it's all part of like a fake undercover plot, but I'm just holding on to it for as long as I can. Bishop finally confides in McGee that things aren't going well with Jake. I feel like we've kind of watched Bishop and Jake's relationship deteriorate over the past couple of seasons, which is kind of unfortunate. And McGee and Bishop are trying to get in with the couple and they're like making dinner plans and it's very, very domestic. And then Abby compares the wife's old license to her new license and things aren't quite matching up and it turns out this wife is a fake. This adds a new intriguing layer to Tony's theory. It's always the wife. But which one? They figure out that the husband and the fake wife murdered the real wife so that they could get a hold of her money, because it turns out the real wife actually had this massive fortune. That's probably why she could afford to buy the love of Tony's life. And then Bishop's like, you know what? Gibbs told me to take initiative, so I'm going into this house by myself. Pretty sure Gibbs also told you to not die. So weigh your options. There's a very real moment between Denoso and Gibbs in the car, saying that he has been thinking about his family and the way that things have been going. He doesn't really think kids are in the cards for him. And it's a very honest moment, especially with Tony talking about something like kids. That's not really something we see with him. And he's talking about that he just wants a sense of belonging. Tony always puts up this front, like, yeah, he's so cool, Tony Denoso, but there's something really missing from his life that he really wants, that he doesn't think is possible for him, or that he is struggling to achieve and doesn't really know how to find right now. So I think this family storyline will take him in an interesting place, and I enjoy that we're getting to see him open up more. Even though it's kind of breaking my heart every single time, I'm glad we're seeing it. So McGee meets up with the wife, and then the soldier from the beginning who wanted to help them with the case is like, Agent McGee! And then the woman runs away. You could help by not blowing the case, son. So the wife is on to him and she calls the husband and Bishop's in the house. Oh no. Bishop opens the box and it's a dead, dismembered body. What else would it be? The husband comes in and starts beating her up. And Bishop actually kicks a lot of butt. And it's amazing. It's one of my favorite Bishop moments. This whole episode has been one of my favorite Bishop moments. She's killing it. And by it I mean him. With a pair of scissors. She stabs him in the back with a pair of scissors. And then he falls on it, and it's one of the more gruesome things I think we've seen in a while. So they find out the real wife's identity, and they figure out the case, and come to the general conclusion that greed sucks. McGee buys Bishop flowers, and things are still really, really bad between Bishop and Jake, but McGee and Bishop, things are going really well. I adore them, and I'm gonna focus on that, because he bought her flowers. I love them so much. And then we end with the revelation that Denoso may just be related to Jack the Ripper. The end. I really liked Incognito. I think it was such a good episode for so many characters. I love McGee and Bishop's friendship, and I'm so glad there was an episode to just showcase it. It's honestly one of my favorite aspects of the show right now. I loved Bishop in this episode. I thought she was so fierce and I still felt for her, and I thought she opened up a lot and she was just so real this episode. I really, really liked her. It was such a good episode for Denozo too, talking about his family. It was just a very good mix. So that was Incognito. I really enjoyed it. I'll see you guys for the spoilers and theories video.